So, let's be honest for a second. Most people can't seem to exist without the digital echo of a social media post. It's become a mandatory way of life, hasn't it? The world must see the flight, the glamour, the perfectly angled coffee cup. Otherwise, did it even happen? All those likes and worshipping comments, well, that's just a steady stream of dopamine keeping the machine running. It is as if society has collectively decided that being unseen is some kind of glitch in the matrix, a level 5 nightmare, where if there are no witnesses, there is no value. But what about the ones who don't participate? The ones who exist in the shadows of the algorithm? It's a fascinating, almost haunting concept in 2026. There's a certain kind of person who has an account but hasn't posted since the world looked completely different, or perhaps they never bothered to create one at all. To the average observer, this is terrifying. To be unobserved is to be invisible. And being invisible is the ultimate modern failure, right? But when the unseen patterns of human behavior are examined, it turns out these digital ghosts might actually be the ones who have achieved the ultimate level of psychological freedom. The pressure to be seen is heavy. Society often treats being unseen as if it's a medical condition. Maybe it's because the system relies on dark propaganda, that subtle, constant force that convinces everyone their worth is tied to their visibility. This propaganda suggests that if the world doesn't see you fly, you must be grounded. But the people who choose to stay in the background, they've decoded the secret. They've realized that the glamour is often just a high-resolution mask for a very low-resolution reality. Actually, it's not that their lives are empty. Usually, it's quite the opposite. These individuals often exhibit a rare trait known as analog intelligence. It's a preference for the mechanical soul of a real experience over the hollow perfection of a digital one. While the rest of the world is busy curating a level 5 nightmare of a perfect life, these ghosts are busy actually living one. They'd rather feel the literal vibration of a moment, the wind on a motorcycle ride at night, the texture of a physical book, or the quiet satisfaction of a clean house, than interrupt that peace to take a photo for strangers. They prioritize the high-fidelity connection to reality over the low bitrate validation of a notification. There's a deeper psychological root here that goes beyond just being old school. It's often tied to a concept known as traumatic intelligence. It's a very real phenomenon. Often, those who prefer to stay unseen are the ones who learn to observe long before they learn to perform. Research into early emotional development and parentification suggests that children who were forced to grow up too fast, perhaps serving as the fixer in a chaotic home, develop a high-end sensor for the room. They see what others don't. They read hidden intentions like a second language. Once a person has spent a lifetime navigating the subtle forces of a difficult environment just to stay safe, the idea of intentionally inviting the entire world to watch them just feels, well, it feels fundamentally wrong. Why would a person who has mastered the art of being invisible suddenly want to become a target for public opinion? For them, solitude isn't a lack of friends or a lack of things to say. It's a form of emotional freedom and a necessary protection for a nervous system that has already survived enough noise for one lifetime. They've traded the spotlight for the safety of the wings. This leads to a powerful psychological milestone, the realization that once you realize nobody cares, you win. It sounds a bit morbid at first, doesn't it? But it's actually the most freeing truth in existence. Most people are so consumed by their own fear of being judged that they don't actually have the bandwidth to truly judge anyone else. The digital ghost understands this. They don't need a worshipping comment to feel valid because they've already found true fulfillment in the silence. They are the people who just stop explaining themselves. They have realized that those who don't understand their silence will never understand their words anyway. There is a specific kind of exhaustion that comes from being too available to the world. Scientific research into childhood parentification shows that those who were mature for their age as children often grow into adults who are chronically burnt out by social expectations. For these people, social media isn't a playground, it's another set of responsibilities. Another room to read, another set of people to please or fix. So they opt out. They choose to walk away silently from the noise. They trade the glamour of a viral moment for the lasting growth of a private, stable nervous system. Think about the subtle forces that drive a hand toward a phone the moment a silence becomes too long. What is that running from? The person who doesn't post isn't running. They are sitting in that boredom. They are letting their mind drift into fake scenarios without needing to broadcast them for engagement. They understand that some things are meant to be kept private, certain signs, certain feelings, certain victories, just to ensure that a piece of the soul remains exclusively yours. It's about being less affected by people and their opinions because the foundation isn't built on digital glass, it's built on analog reality. In a world full of empty content and constant noise, choosing to stay at home or remain unseen isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of a regulated nervous system. It's a refusal to let the dark propaganda of the internet dictate what enough looks like. The people who know how to fix everything, the ones who see the patterns others miss, rarely feel the need to shout about it. They just do the work. They live the life. They enjoy the mechanical soul of their own existence without needing a digital receipt for the tax of social approval. Real growth isn't found in the dopamine of a comment section, it's found in the silence that most people are terrified of. The digital ghost is a reminder that being unseen is actually a superpower in 2026. It's the ability to find lasting growth without a public audience. It's the strength to never feel enough by society's standards while being perfectly content by your own. It's about protecting that peace at all costs, even if it means being forgotten by the feed. Because being forgotten by the feed usually means being remembered by yourself. True fulfillment often comes from the things that cannot be shared. The sense of achievement when a difficult task is completed in private, the warmth of a genuine conversation that stays between two people, or the clarity found in a moment of pure solitude. These are the experiences that build a solid internal world. When life is lived for the audience, the internal world remains hollow, always waiting for the next like to feel full again. But for the digital ghost, the internal world is already complete. Actually, when you think about it, the act of not posting is almost a form of rebellion now. It's a way of saying that your time, your energy, and your memories belong to you, not to an algorithm. It's about reclaiming the analog parts of being human, the parts that are messy, unpolished, and completely authentic. In a digital landscape that demands constant dark propaganda for the self, choosing to be invisible is the ultimate act of self-preservation. A sincere thank you goes out to every person who stuck around until the very end of this deep dive. In an age where the average attention span is shorter than a transition on a viral video, the fact that this conversation lasted this long is a testament to those who still value thinking deeply. If these unseen patterns resonated, or if there's a digital ghost listening right now, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. It's the simplest way to support the research and keep these psychology deep dives coming for those who prefer the quiet side of life. See you on the other side.